Coming up on Football Today, it is the Thursday preview show. We have a look at the 5 games coming up this weekend in the EPL. Leo is back with a trivia question, and I absolutely take down Stats Guy because his answer is not great. You're going to have to tune into that. Comes in the second half of the show. Football Today starts right now. Hello and welcome to the Football Today podcast for the Thursday preview show. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly. My Christmas present finally arrived only 20 days late, and on the back of 4 games without a win. Feels really good to be wearing this Arsenal shirt right now. I am joined, as always, by the Stats Guy in a $3 Chicago Fire shirt from Best Buy.
Yeah, well, it says Best Buy. I think this is an official top. We've gone through the attic and found the weirdest jersey that's probably been on this podcast.
Awesome,
nice. You've got
but
the
it's
American flag.
Sucks at the same time.
Yeah, it's
Chicago
great,
Fire.
but it's pathetic.
That's why I like it. It's a dodgy kit, and I like it.
So what
yeah.
sums you up? Great but pathetic.
No, just say great. You got one part right. Yeah.
It's the shoulder pads with the American flag that are doing it for me.
Maybe I'll rip that out because I don't like that part.
And Marcus Bazzano in a Chelsea alternate or second kit?
Us third kit.
Third kit from a couple of years
from
ago.
a couple of seasons ago.
I don't mind it. The black. It's plain. It's simple. There's a lot of sponsors there though.
There is
Nike, Hyundai.
at least it hasn't got the big 3 on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's all right. Oh, so we are here for the Football Today podcast. We'll have a look at Matchweek 21 of the EPL. Got the last half of the games there. Take a look at Australia coming up in the Asian Cup. We play Syria tonight, Thursday. So if you're listening to this Friday morning, that game has been won, and hopefully it's Australia. Talk about some news going on in the transfer portal and then some Aussies abroad as well, with a lot of the Matilda's girls in action in the WSL this weekend. But as always, we start off the show with a yeah, nah. And I've come up with it this week for today's show. And this comes off the back of Jose Mourinho being sacked by Roma literally like 24 hours ago. So the yeah, nah is, and it's been speculated on the internets. Should Jose Mourinho take over as England coach before the Euros?
Before the Euros?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go yes.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna go
I like
yeah.
this.
No, I might be a bit biased as a Chelsea fan, but he wins things everywhere.
He wins.
He wins. He's never stayed more than 3 years at a club, so don't expect.
He was very close to the 3 years at Roma, though. Real close.
3 years. He was 3 years at Chelsea, 3 years at Roma. Yeah, Chelsea the second guy, Real Madrid as well. But he's won, obviously, trophies everywhere except Tottenham. But he could have won a trophy because he got sacked a week before.
He would have won that game.
He would have won. He had more chance of winning it than Ryan Mason.
Exactly.
So, I mean, no, I really think they should because this is the best England team for God knows how long.
20 years.
It's probably even better.
98.
I think it's even better than that team, quality-wise.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to say nah on this one. I think there's a few better options. I think it'd be cool if he goes to Newcastle. I think it's the favourite in the odds for him. I think that would be
So you want to see Eddie Howe sacked after he dragged them from a relegation battle to 4th, and every second player on that list is injured?
We've already talked about this. I don't mind him being sacked, yes, because I think that their club and their list at the moment, this is the best they're going to get for the next couple of years. So I think
we say list, it's actually a squad. We're talking AFL.
Squad, yeah. List squad, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know about England. I would rather see him in the Premier League or one of the big leagues. I feel like that's more suited to him. I don't think everyone says, Southgate out for England. I don't think he's that bad. I think the players have underperformed on the big stage.
He keeps picking Jordan Henderson and Calvin Phillips. He deserves to lose.
He's not going to. They're still in charge. They're not winning the Euros. They got the best squad.
All right.
That could be an early big call that England aren't going to win the Euros.
But they're not going to win the Euros with Southgate in charge. But Mourinho's play style suits tournament football.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's true. That's the last couple of cups he's won have been in those other tournaments, not the actual league. So I'll give you that.
Players and fans love him. Like when we got sacked 24 hours ago, players and fans were crying that he got sacked, even though they're 9th.
Yeah, but they were also doing well in like their what is it? Their
they won their first
Italy
European
Cup,
trophy. Won Roma's first ever European trophy.
The Conference League, and then they were a penalty kick away from qualifying for Champions League. They lost the Europa League final to Sevilla.
Yes,
so first ever final he's lost. So if we just quickly go back to, you said this is the best squad that England have ever had. If you look back on it, like in the 90s where they had that super team, in France 98 when Beckham decided to get sent off, different story. You look back there, the rivalry between Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool then, which Gerrard, Beckham, Stevie
they all probably
G,
hated each other.
All of them trying to fit in one team and work together, really didn't work when you think about it. Whereas now you're like, Saka, Bellingham, Kane, it works.
They're all very friendly, so they do a lot more like
they don't hate each other.
They don't hate each other. They do a lot more like social media stuff where they're just having fun with each other. They might play FIFA with each other or things like that. where I think that's a good thing for international football, where they're getting along a bit more because then it helps. Whereas, like you said, you're right. They probably had a better overall list or squad. I keep saying list.
But there was little segments within the squad of the Manchester United boys, the Liverpool boys, the Chelsea boys, which is why it never truly clicked.
Yeah.
And I think they just couldn't fit everyone in. And they kept managers that play styles didn't suit those players. And to be honest, they were never as good as Jose Mourinho has ever been.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Sven-Goran Eriksson with his health news that came out this week. Hopefully, he's not going to get better, but hopefully it's an easy time for him. All right, off to some not so somber news. EPL Matchweek 21. We're going to run through the games here. What have we got? We got 5 games for the remainder of the week. Kicks off this Saturday night at the Emirates with Arsenal taking on Crystal Palace. My thing says 10:30, then another thing says 11:30. If you turn on the TV at 11 o'clock, a game's either on or it's about to start. So let's go with that. How are we looking at this game? Because
must win.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
This is a huge game.
Yeah.
Huge game.
Arsenal haven't won in their last 3. They've only won 1 of their last 5 Premier League games. Not worried about the FA Cup, but Premier League. This game is a must-win, and we can sort of roll this into our big calls and such for the weekend. My big call is Arsenal are going to come out and put 2 or 3, even more, past Crystal Palace this weekend. Having the 11 days off post that FA Cup game, going to Dubai, warm weather training, players getting over little niggles and just getting away from England. And Arsenal fans on the internet have been really bad in the last week. It's been very frustrating to see, Arteta out. It's like, yes, Manchester City and Barcelona want him to be their next coaches.
Do you really think that he can win a title at Arsenal?
Yes, I believe he can. We got so close last year with Rob Holding playing at centre-back for the last 9 games.
I think he's a good coach. I just think he's a bit unlucky that you got Liverpool, Man City at the best peak of their powers as well.
But also think of where he dragged this team from when he took over.
Is it an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer job?
Oh,
it builds the club back up again from where they were in a shambles. Get them finishing second.
Jurgen Klopp, he comes and takes over when the clubs are in shambles and builds it up and goes like that. Like the trajectory that Arsenal were on last year is what they should be on this year. I reckon they were a year ahead of the project.
I guess, but I can't see the comparison there.
Yeah. Anyway, they're going to beat Crystal Palace because Crystal Palace aren't that great. Wow. And Arsenal have won the last 3 games quite easily against Crystal Palace. I know it was only a 1-0 win early this year, but they were in control of that game. This time last year, they whipped them 4-1. I think Arsenal come back with a vengeance. Ideally, I'd say this, if Gabriel Jesus isn't fully fit, I'm playing Kai Havertz at striker and letting him just barrel the first goal.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck with that.
I don't mind playing. Well, he's been going really well. Where has he been playing on the wing, hasn't he? So I'd
been playing at 8.
8. Yeah. I'd probably keep him out as an 8, just because his whole game is based around his confidence, and I feel like if his confidence is in that 8 position, then I'd keep him there. Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, the other thing I was going to say was that Crystal Palace actually haven't been that bad across the last month or so. They beat Brentford, they drew to City, drew to Brighton, so they've been a bit better. But if this was at Selhurst Park, I could sneakily maybe tip a draw, but at Emirates, I don't trust them to beat Arsenal. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Ivan Toney's back, isn't he? Officially from his ban. So could he imminent move Arsenal this window? No.
That actually is a perfect segue because the next game we're going to talk about is Brentford taking on Nottingham Forest.
Hey.
Brentford are in horrendous form. They've lost their last 6 night games in the EPL, so this is a night game for all those playing at home. And I think they've only won 1 of their last 8 overall. Correct. And that was, I can't remember, I think they beat Luton. But yeah, Ivan Toney returning is massive for them. Yep. I don't think he will end up at Arsenal. That's going to be my call for him. But anyway, it's good to see him back playing football. Yep. He's probably going to end up at Chelsea, let's be honest.
He's probably going to bet on his own game again, I reckon. If he scores a random goal, he passes off one where he's right in front and he might have bet him for an assist. So we'll have to keep an eye on what he does over the next couple of weeks.
What a cynic. You're a cynic guy.
Oh, that's just funny. Come on. It'd be funny if he passes one off and everyone goes, oh.
Well, we'll find out if he backs Brentford to get relegated at $6 or not.
But yeah, on this game, obviously Nottingham Forest with the news earlier in the week coming out about their FFP and whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. It's the not the FFP. It's like sustainability.
Yeah.
Basically the profit and loss.
A lot of big words for like you're going to lose points if you spend too much money.
Well, if you lose too much money.
If you lose too much money, sorry.
I think that's going to have a big hit on like the whole mood around Notts Forest also going away to Brentford. Thomas Frank does need a win. He's probably the next one that's under most pressure at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, you said at the start of the season, Marcus, said they weren't going to go too well, and they're ever so quickly going towards that relegation zone.
They're going to drop points.
They'll be lucky. So just say not and Everton end up dropping down because of deducted points.
Say 10 points.
10 points. Then Brentford are going to be very lucky because then they won't get relegated probably. But if that didn't happen, they would be very, very close to the relegation zone.
Speaking of relegation looming for a team, Sheffield United. They take on Stats Boy's second favourite team at the moment, West Ham, who lost to Bristol City. Put some respect on West Ham's name, you say. They got beaten by Bristol.
Didn't I say put some respect on...
team? You're a Chelsea fan. That's
they're not my second favourite team. I just thought they were going okay.
And then they lost to Bristol City.
Put some respect on Bristol City, absolute powerhouse of the game. That was really bad. I do think they still obviously going to run in the Premier League, but I still don't know how they lost during the week. That's horrible.
Yeah, they're such a hit or miss side, aren't they, West Ham?
Yeah.
I have no vibe on this game whatsoever. To be honest, absolutely
won't be tuning into that game.
I'll be catching the 9-minute highlights. The next game we'll talk about, Bournemouth taking on Liverpool. This one, home game for Bournemouth. I think we're going to see a lot of goals here just with the way Bournemouth are playing. Liverpool, obviously they're very open and expansive, but they do have a host of injuries running through their squad at the moment. Pretty keen to see sort of Liverpool come out here. Darwin Núñez needs to put a few into the back of the net here. He has had so many shots and he's missed many of a sitter.
Yeah. He's still had a solid season.
He's almost Kai Havertz level confidence. He needs to put some in the back of the net.
Yeah,
but because it's Liverpool, like it's weird. Liverpool, like his misses are seemingly flying under the radar, but it's like with no Mo Salah, they're going to be really poignant if he does miss.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at his stats. He's still got 11 goal contributions, still solid. 6 assists. If you said at the start of the season that he's going to be close to that 10 assist mark for the season,
he's got like 5 goals from like 10 or 11 expected.
He definitely needs to score more for his big price tag. But it should be a good game. I had a look, 14-3 across the last 4. Liverpool lead Bournemouth. So they lead 14-3. One of those games was the 9-0, so that helps that. But also one of them was when Bournemouth won.
He sacked? Their old coach.
Yes. And one of them was the 1-0 that Bournemouth won at this same fixture a year and a half ago. So I don't think Bournemouth can recreate that, but it could be like a 3-1, 4-1.
Bournemouth have been the form side of the EPL the last 6 weeks.
They have
For
those.
the last 5, they've won.
I think it's like 7 of the last 8.
Well, if they win both their games in hand, they'll go equal in points with Chelsea, which is kind of funny considering Bournemouth were the last team to win a game this season.
Wow.
I like it.
That's crazy.
All right, final game, 6:45 a.m. Tuesday morning. So we'll be doing the wrap show straight after that, like 10 a.m. Brighton take on Wolves. We don't talk about odds as much here anymore, but Wolves are a really big price in this game.
Yeah.
And Brighton is so hit or miss. I need to have something on Wolves or draw here.
I think, but Wolves also hit or miss as well. You take away, they lose Hwang Hee-chan.
Yeah.
That's a huge out for them. And I think they played this morning as well, didn't they? Wolves.
FA Cup,
They played yesterday,
they knocked Brentford out, I think, 3-2.
Yes.
And they had to go to extra time. So that's more minutes in the legs for a lot of those first team players.
Yeah.
So I know. I think Brighton can definitely get a result
won
here.
a game. Good for them.
Yeah, I think Brighton, I know they've been a bit inconsistent last month. At home, I'm just going to back them. It is a hard game to pick because, like you said, both teams are really consistent. Also, you mentioned playing during the week. Some other teams, when you're having those cup games, you can just rotate your squad. Whereas Wolves, like the likes of Wolves, can't really do that. They don't have a deep squad. They don't have young guys really coming through that are stars. So, I feel like, a bit more extra work on the legs. So I'm going to go Brighton as well.
That is something to pay attention to because next weekend is the 4th round of the FA Cup. So some of the EPL teams who have been knocked out will have 10 to 12 days off after this weekend as well.
Yeah, wow.
Whereas another couple of teams, midweek games, then they've got this and then another midweek round. So it's
Chelsea, Liverpool and Fulham also have the second leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final as well to mix into that lot of FA Cup games.
That's in the middle of next week, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so many games
Chelsea,
going on.
So a team like Chelsea, middle of next week, Carabao Cup.
Yep.
They've obviously got this weekend off into the FA Cup that weekend, and then it's a midweek round of the EPL the following week. That is a very hectic schedule, whereas someone like us are like, we don't play in cups.
Well, that's more important to Liverpool as well. They're going to be hit pretty badly.
And Manchester City are the same as well, whereas a team like Arsenal, it's like we have Champions League and just the league at the moment.
It's actually a better spot to be sometimes when you're playing less games.
For Arsenal with a few injuries, trying to actually win a league or a Champions League, not having the Carabao Cup or FA Cup as much as it sucks to not be in those competitions, it's not a big deal.
It's not the end of the world when,
Arsenal don't have the biggest depth of squad
absolutely
compared to
not.
other teams. So, this might prove handy for them if they want to, get back in the conversation of a title challenge.
Yeah.
Let's go to the big calls for the week. And Stats Boy, lead us off.
It's got to be Gibbs White for Notts. I think he's pretty underrated sort of season and a half. He scored the last 2 games, Gibbs White. He's sort of there.
Morgan Gibbs White for all those.
Morgan Gibbs White, yeah. Against, I think he's going to score 2 against Brentford this week. I don't trust Brentford at all. As you mentioned.
That's not a big call. That's a ridiculously massive call.
Yeah, well, that's what you wanted. You said the big call, so that's what I'm giving you.
Sure.
I think he's in amazing form. I've watched a lot of their games. Every time they go through midfield, they go through him. Yeah. They did that last season, and because he was a bit younger, he wouldn't really finish. He'd pass it off. And he got injured as well, yeah. He passed it off a lot, whereas this year he's taken those shots from long range, just even improved his dribbling. So I just reckon they're going to absolutely tear up Brentford, even though they're the away team. As we mentioned, Brentford have been horrible, and I reckon Gibbs White might get out the back for 2 goals.
Okay. Oof. Marcus.
I was so close to getting my big call correct last time out, but I'm going to go, I reckon it's going to come true this time. I'm going to go Bournemouth take points off Liverpool.
Oh, that is a big call.
That is a big call. No Mo Salah. Obviously, they got a lot of attacking depth. No Endo. But this is one of those games. Bournemouth in great form at the vitality. Yep, exactly. So I think Bournemouth can take points off Liverpool.
Interesting.
My big call, given that they can't score at the moment, Arsenal put 3 or more past Crystal Palace. I mean, we haven't scored in the last couple of games we've played in, so we need to score.
You're going to make up for it.
Exactly. So that's mine, and that sort of rolls into my doomsday scenario. It's the complete opposite of that. The doomsday scenario for me is Arsenal fail to score, which means they will drop points in this game. This is a game that they cannot drop points. I know it's not the end of the world, and the league and the title's over because there's still obviously 17 games to go.
Yep.
But this is one.
It's a big game, though.
You can't afford to drop points. Get to the end of the season, you're trying to chase wins rather than be like, okay, a draw in match week 32, not as bad.
I feel
dropping
like
points here, you're too far off. I feel
we might not see you early in the week if you drop points.
No, I'm contracted to do my job. I'm a professional. I'll be flat as a tack.
that just brings more unwanted pressure on Mikel Arteta.
It does, yeah.
They're not. See, he is so far away from Arsenal. Would have to finish like 9th.
But the outside noise is going to build up.
Can get into the team.
For me, so going to this, the thing for me is, tactically, he's done nothing wrong. It's literally the blokes on the field not putting it into the back of the net. Look at all of the XG and chances that they've missed. That has nothing to do with Mikel Arteta. It's like, boys, put the goddamn ball in the net.
That's like saying the same thing for Chelsea. They were up there with XG as well. In terms of the table, we can't get in the back of the net. But I think the thing with Mikel Arteta, he hasn't really fluidity with a plan B yet. Yeah. If that's not working,
well, he has shown that he has shown in the past that he can change tack, but in recent games, I think it's also due to lack of squad depth at the moment too.
It might be, yeah.
Whereas I remember against Man City, it wasn't what he made some changes. It wasn't working, and 10 minutes later he changed again and ended up getting the winner. Whereas now the fact that you've still got Thomas Partey out, Gabriel Jesus has been under an injury cloud. We've got no defensive depth whatsoever as well as Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, and Timber all away or injured at the moment.
I'm not sure about Leandro Trossard's availability, but instead you mentioned Kai Havertz up top. Yeah. Is it worth putting him as a false 9 this weekend?
He's tried it before. I think he's better as an impact player off the bench as long as he's not taking corners. He's taken some of the most Sunday League looking corners I've ever seen in recent weeks.
I'm just worried about the amount of minutes that are going into Martinelli, Saka.
I'm more concerned about the minutes going into Bukayo Saka.
I'm worried about the minutes that we're talking about Arsenal on this podcast. It's a bit,
but it's also like it is such a topic point. It's Man City are going to look like they're going to win 15 games in a row.
No, I know.
Liverpool have their injuries, but they're not playing this weekend. So it's like,
it's a tough one.
Bournemouth, sorry.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. All right, what is your doomsday scenario, Stats guy?
Not Arsenal, but a bit of Brentford. I just mentioned them. Brentford lose another game. They've currently lost 7 of their last 8, as you mentioned before, Alex. They could lose 8 of their last 9 if they lose another one. Closer to the relegation zone, they'll be praying that Everton and Notts get those points deductions.
But the thing is that
they could be relegated.
That won't be decided till April. So
anyway, so then they could be even closer to the relegation zone in the next couple of weeks. Then if that doesn't get decided till April, and I think Thomas Frank will lose his job soon because they have been horrible. I don't know what's going on. They've
had no striker for 8 months.
Well, at the start of the season,
doesn't help.
Maybe it was people at the start of the season not really adjusting to in Burma. But at the start of the season, Burma was scoring every game. He's dropped off. A lot of their guys have dropped. Weiser's dropped off. Yeah, just a lot of their guys. I don't know if it's all down to Thomas Frank.
Hasn't been flecking good.
No, he has not been flecking good. So yeah, Brentford, doomsday scenario, they just get even closer to the relegation zone.
And Marcus will have already touched on it.
Yeah, going back to Arsenal, it's just if they drop points against Palace at home.
Pretty simple. Yeah. All right, that's the first half of the show done and dusted, boys. Good stuff. We'll be back after this. Stats Guy will try to extend his lead in the trivia competition that absolutely sucks. We'll be back after this.
Lock in for a huge summer of slog sixes, rattle bales, and classic snags with the daily Cricket Today podcast. Keep up to date with all things BBL, BBL Supercoach, tests, ODIs, and T20s this summer, as well as the highlights and socials all season long. Search Cricket Today on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
All right, welcome back to the Football Today show for the second half of the show. As always, we start off with a trivia question from a social guy, Leo. If we have a scoreboard here, Stats Guy 2.5, Marcus and I 1.5. We have been great. Leo,
Let's go.
Boys, I reckon you'll get this one.
Come on.
Bit of positivity. Which player was the most expensive transfer in last year's January transfer window? I'll give you a bonus point if you can guess how much the transfer was.
Is it
Enzo
Anthony?
Fernandez.
Oh, yeah, it probably is.
It'll be
I don't
Enzo
think
Fernandez.
that wasn't January though.
Yeah, it was.
It was like Feb, wasn't it? Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez, 105 million.
I actually think I know who it is. I think it's someone else. It's either Fernandez or Saicedo. He was like...
Wait, you said summer as in...
The January transfer.
Yeah, so
Saicedo
January said this
later.
time last year. Okay, yeah, I'm Enzo Fernandez.
I reckon you're probably right.
Yep. Well, yeah, I'll back that.
I just want to go somewhere different.
Go on.
So I'll go Saicedo just to be different, but I think you could be right with Fernandez. And
Marcus?
Saicedo...
Oh, yeah, I'll go with Enzo. Yep.
What are your pounds? Like you're guessing?
I'm going to go
how much?
115.
115?
110.
110? What were you again?
105.
It's Fernandez, Enzo Fernandez. 106.
Caicedo went in July.
I can't remember.
He went in the most recent transfer
hang
window.
on. I literally said, I think it is Fernandez. I'm just going to go someone different.
You literally went a dude that signed 6 months ago, not 12 months ago.
Where's this come from?
Modric was the expensive one also this time last year.
God, I forgot, all right?
Fake
Relax.
fan stats guy. Sorry, Gerald. Really sorry about hitting the table.
Hey, that's the first time you've been up and down all show. You've been very down all show. I'm
I
glad
was
you're back.
so close to the 2 points.
I should have just said Fernandez.
2.5, Alex. This guy.
Hold on, you're back. And I'm, yeah.
The 2.5. Oh, crap. Marcus on 2.5 as well.
Yeah, I'll go with
And Alex has been sacked.
Go on, fine. Get someone else to host all the shows I do. All right, transfer portal. Stats guy's going to get fired up about this because he really hates Saudi Arabia. Jordan Henderson, it is done. The deal is done. Contract termination from whatever Saudi team he's playing for. If attack, whatever.
Yeah, if attack.
Anyway, he's leaving £700,000 a week to go to Ajax of all teams. 2.5-year contract. Locked in.
Well, like we said in the last show earlier in the week, I think that's a great move for Ajax. Him coming to the Premier League, I don't rate at all because they don't really need him. Whereas Ajax dropped down the table a little bit. I do like following Ajax every now and then. They're usually right up there. They just need a bit of experience, bit of a level head. He's still solid, and obviously the Eredivisie is a little bit lower in standard, so I don't mind that move at all.
2.5 years is,
long time.
Henderson's actually come away good
old.
there.
Yeah.
For a 2.5-year deal.
It's good to see that Jordan Henderson, after fixing all the issues in Saudi Arabia, is now going to the Netherlands to fix the one problem: weed. Good stuff. Now, you put this in here, Marcus, about Alex Robertson.
Yeah, Alex Robertson, obviously at Portsmouth at the moment, up and coming Australian young midfielder.
Yeah.
He can represent England as well, but is choosing to represent Australia
What a
because
man.
his
Smart.
father and grandfather represented Australia. So he's
Good stuff, Robbo.
He's already played for the Socceroos. I think he's made his debut. But there are Premier League and Championship clubs circling him, one of those being Everton.
Which won't happen because their sale to 777 Partners has gone bust overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Given they've been not placed into receivership, but some where their banking is done, it's been investigated and it's basically frozen their assets, which this deal not going through for Everton leaves them in a £300 million hole.
Oh.
They are utterly cooked. There is going to be a fire sale incoming because
Jeez.
they're going to have to sell players to recoup a lot of these losses. If they get another deduction, they're going to get relegated anyway.
Oh.
So maybe try and make some money now to offset the losses that are going to happen.
I've got a mate that's an Everton fan, and we were talking to him about it. He's just depressed. He's just everything's gone to crap.
That's what I was like. Oh, they won again this morning. Good for them.
It's not a good time to be an Everton fan. Yeah, especially Alex Robinson could be like an up-and-coming guy.
Yeah, he's not going to
You can't
Everton.
even get it up.
If you're a player, the one club you're not going to this transfer window is Everton.
Yeah, okay.
This will be the first time that Everton will get relegated in the history.
I was about to say,
top five.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, which leaves, I think, only Arsenal's the only other team.
Arsenal and Everton were
Yeah.
the only two, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Speaking of Arsenal, Karim Benzema. He doesn't want to go back to Saudi Arabia. He hasn't lobbed after Christmas and New Year's. He wants to leave. Fair enough. Like his deal sort of was rushed through. He's only coming off a Ballon d'Or 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So he's looking at a 6-month, or clubs, aka Arsenal and Chelsea, are circling for a 6-month loan deal, basically to get him across to help in the back end of the season. I don't know why Chelsea would need him. You have 87,000 strikers. Arsenal, however, need a striker, but also he would command a pretty penny. A team like Arsenal have FFP issues, so they may not be able to get him in.
I think Chelsea
we have two strikers.
Yeah, one or two.
And one's away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that because he's still better than all the other attackers that we have, I reckon. I don't mind if Benzema's gone away for a while and been not in the top leagues. He's still a freak.
6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So he's still a freak and he just finishes anything that comes his way. I think any team would be lucky to have him in the whole world.
Basically, City and Liverpool.
How old is he
and
now,
Newcastle are the only two that don't need him.
Yeah, probably. I think, he'd be about
36, but he's still
But
strong.
for 6 months.
Yeah, 6
like
months.
if he scores 10 goals in that, if he comes across,
He'll be our leading goal scorer.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. If he can score 10 goals,
It guarantees Europe, probably for Chelsea and for Arsenal.
Arsenal probably wins him a title.
Ooh, maybe.
If he comes in and scores
Maybe.
10 goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Given that, Gabriel Rose.
I don't know about that.
or Champions League, who cares? 10 goals. That's great. Calvin Phillips, where's he going to go? Anyone?
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 Somewhere where the man can play football, because he is phenomenally talented.
I'll tell you where.
Go back to Leeds.
I'll tell you where he'd be good at. Probably West Ham. They've missed Declan Rice. He's gone. Probably need another holding midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy that's
English
good
holding
passer out
midfielder.
of defence as well. I don't mind that.
Newcastle apparently in for him again. They've got FFP issues. Juventus are apparently in for him as well. Marseille have thrown their... Dude just needs to go play football so he can get some minutes so he can play in the Euros later this year.
He's getting a paycheck, so I think he's pretty happy.
Yeah, he's just sitting on the bench going, give me all the money, guys.
It's
Scott
not
Carson
It's
vibes.
not like Scott Carson who's there for vibes and plays once a year. It's like this kid is... Well, he's not a kid. He's in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of games for City here and there. The move hasn't worked out, fair enough. But
He's 28 now, by the way. There's been a big chunk of his career a bit
last 3
wasted.
years, they're not wasted. He's obviously made a lot of money. He's won everything.
In terms of progressing his style.
Progressing and playing and becoming a better player. I think a few people forget how good he actually was at Leeds. Like, he was one of the best passers in the league.
Oh, yeah.
He was rumoured at every single big club.
Yeah. Everyone wanted
He
it.
had that quality.
Yeah. It's like the Julian Draxler coming to Chelsea or Arsenal every week. That was the best rumour ever year.
It lasted ages, that room.
Hey, Benzema to Arsenal has been on for years as well, apparently. And what's this last one that you've got in here, Marcus?
Yeah, there's a couple of Adelaide United youngsters, two brothers actually, and then there's a cousin as well who's doing very good. The Toure family. Moussa Toure is linked to Hibs in the SFPL.
Yep.
And an unnamed League side. So you never know. There could be big moves for him. He's still young. I think he's
Adelaide cashing in.
Adelaide was produced Ikarunda as well.
Aaron Kunda, they produce so much good young talent, and I think there's a lot of players in their midfield who have also moved across to Europe as well.
The Central Coast, so the A-League's actually done pretty well the last couple of years to get guys overseas. You obviously got Central Coast, have had a couple. Now you've got Adelaide, their academy. They've just got 16 or 18
Don't get
year
me
olds.
started on the A-League.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, all I'm saying is it's better than probably in the past 10 years. There's more guys going overseas and getting contracts.
Then why does our league absolutely suck?
league still sucks
Why
because-
is there no great academy here in Victoria when the fact that we've got the City group here
don't
as well
know.
as Melbourne Victory? Why is Sydney FC's academy a piece of junk as well?
Yeah.
Why doesn't it work?
I'm not sure.
Well, we have had a few players move to Europe from those clubs. I'm looking at Patrick Yazbek from Sydney,
Tilio.
D'Agostino from Victory, but not on the level of Adelaide United.
Yeah.
It's just the A-League is run so poorly, but that could be a podcast.
yeah, that's
in
a
itself.
podcast in itself. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the positives about Australia.
Yes.
We're playing in the Asian Cup tonight. We're going to beat Syria. We're going to go 2-0.
We should,
I have confidence in the boys.
but it's not that easy. I don't
Harry
think.
Suter's just going to
but-
launch someone into the third row.
If we play like we did, we talked about this on the Tuesday podcast. If we play like we did against India, this will be a draw.
Yep.
We just need to finish our dinner. Put it in the onion bag, please. Get it on Big Harry's head, or just do some better crosses. As you said, Trossard was doing some horrible crosses for Arsenal. The Aussie corners were absolutely horrible. Just hold down X on a bit of FIFA a bit more. Get it over the top of the defenders.
That's square.
Square. Sorry. Yeah. Why did I say X?
But it is a bit
damn it.
different. Like, you think about how good our World Cup run was. That's because we sat back and got everyone on the counter.
Yeah.
Now we're expected to press forward
Yeah, that's
and be
what-
the dominant team, which
True.
we're not used to being.
That's what I mentioned in the previous podcast. We're not used to doing that, so teams can sit back, and that's where I thought Harry Sutar would be the difference in the Asian Cup. But there's still time.
Only one game in. I still think we should win this 2-0. I reckon it's going to be the same scoreline, 2-0, because Syria couldn't even get one past Uzbekistan. They didn't have a shot on target against Uzbekistan. Even though Uzbekistan aren't horrible, I think we should win this at least 2 or 3-0.
All right. News coming out this week that the New South Wales government has decided to lift the cap of concerts at Allianz Stadium and the SCG from 4 to 20. I mean, great. The New South Wales government's going to make a whole bunch of money. Yeah. Tell you what it's bad for. Football.
Yes.
Allianz Stadium. The pitch has been perfect since they rebuilt that. When are these 20 concerts a year going to happen, you think, Stats Guy?
During the season, the soccer season.
During the A-League season.
A-League season,
I don't see Taylor Swift coming out to Sydney to play in August during the middle of the NRL season. It's too damn cold.
Can she play? She might play in the A-League Women's or something like that. That'd be pretty funny. Oh, you gave me nothing there. You're a ball of laughter
that
today.
Was just bad. Stats Guy. Basically, the long and short of this is Sydney needs one of the many stadiums that Sydney has. Someone who lived in Sydney.
Yes.
There needs to be a specific football stadium in Sydney, which is just built for purpose for that, where you can play with your W League teams there, your A League teams there, whatever your second division is in Sydney. That's where you can have your finals and such.
I think a core is really good for that. I went to that for the Celtic Everton game, and that stadium was just perfectly built for football, soccer.
Sorry, I am talking about Accor, not Allianz.
Yeah,
Allianz is Stadium Australia. Accor is the one that we're talking about next door to the SCG. Its pitch is perfect. They're going to ruin it.
No, Accor's the one that's in the near the showgrounds.
I have no idea what.
Sorry, Allianz is the one next to SCG. You're right at the start. Yeah.
Sydney Football Stadium.
Yeah, but you're right. The Socceroos and Matildas as well. They're going to play. They usually play a few games there, and now
the Matildas are at the level they played Stadium Australia.
Yeah, or Stadium Australia. But they might look elsewhere now, just because elsewhere from Sydney, because you got bigger stadiums other than
Because you look at what Suncorp Stadium is like now. They have concerts there. They have Super Rugby there. They have rugby there. The ground is absolutely stuffed. This same thing is going to happen if you continue to play concerts in Moore Park, because they're going to happen now during the middle of the A-League season, and you're trying to get Sydney FC and all the other teams on that ground. It's just...
Combank Stadium is actually a nice stadium where Western Sydney...
Thankfully, they don't play concerts there.
Yeah, Western Sydney, that's right. Play there. It's actually a fairly nice stadium. I think Celtic played there pre-season.
Parramatta Eels.
So that's a nice ground.
Yeah, but it's also...
more football
if we're talking about the growth of the game, it's a 30,000-seater, so it doesn't really facilitate...
It's all right for A-League, but not for, Matildas, Socceroos and things like that. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, speaking of the Matildas... Arsenal play Everton this weekend, which sees 4 Matildas do battle. They'll have Caitlin Ford, Kyra Cooney-Cross and Steph Catley going head-to-head with Claire Wheeler. That takes place, I think it's a 2:30 kickoff in England, so it means it's like 2 a.m. our time, 2:30 in the morning. So if you're watching that, that'll be on where you can catch the WSL. They're not paying us, so we're not going to tell you where it is.
Wheeler was in one of our trivia questions, wasn't she? The most
minutes.
Most minutes by Matilda? No. Oh, Leo's shaking his head. I can't even get the part.
It was a Leicester player, wasn't it? It was a Leicester player.
Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about this yesterday, and we thought it was Wheeler.
Yeah. It's Courtney Nevin.
Courtney, of course it was. Yeah. So Claire Wheeler plays a lot of minutes for Everton as well. Yeah, so she's really good.
Obviously, West Ham are in the midst of a relegation battle there in the WSL. They're tied on 5 points, equal last. So you're hoping that Katrina Gorey and the Defence Minister for Australia, Mackenzie Arnold, can lift West Ham out of that zone.
Yeah. No, not great. They definitely need to, a bit better in defence. They concede way too easy, that team.
It's because Mackenzie Arnold hasn't been playing.
Yes.
Anyway, no fantasy chat this week because we're in the middle of a game week. So hopefully you listened to some of our chat last week. If you had Kevin De Bruyne as captain as I did, well done for 20 minutes of work. 24 points in 20 minutes. Good stuff, KDB. You absolute legend. But you know what? That is us done and dusted for the Thursday preview show here on Football Today. I nearly called it Hold All Tickets. Check
that one out.
Also, check out Hold All Tickets at punters.com.au. Really good show today. We're checking out Flemington and Rosehill for this weekend. Good stuff there. Bit of cross promotion, boys. Also, check out Stats Guy Marcus' show, Cricket Today, breaking down the test matches, the BBL. What is the final game of the Big Bash was last night? Got washed out.
Yep. The finals start tomorrow, so we're absolutely up and
about. We'll be doing a live stream as well for the BBL final, I believe, next Wednesday.
Oh, they are, Gerald. Good stuff. Gerald's like, oh, nice. Yeah, so make sure you check that out. Get across all of our social media. So if you're looking at the Cricket Today stuff, that's just Cricket Today, Pod Cricket Today AU across Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Marcus annoying everyone except for Pakistanis at the moment.
They love me.
Yeah, make sure you also check out our Football Today social medias. We've put up a bunch of stuff over the last few days. We're doing it on this day every day because why not?
Yeah.
Pretty fun stuff at the moment. We put one up of what was the Holy Trinity today or something?
United Trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes. Dennis, I was about to say Dennis Wise.
George Best.
Yeah, George Best, Bobby Charlton, and this is good for me.
Yeah, Dennis Law.
Dennis Law, there you go. I knew it was the Dennis.
The three guys, the big statues outside of Old Trafford.
Yep. Yeah, it's been there for 15 years or something?
Yep. Yeah, 2008 it was unveiled.
16 years, 2024. It's 2024, Marcus.
Yeah. Stop the show.
We are rambling, absolutely rambling. Please make sure you check out those social medias. As I said, leave a comment on all of our posts. Also, if you can get around us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, that'd be absolutely fantastic. 5-star rating and a review would be fantastic as it pushes us out to a broader audience. But we will be back next Tuesday to wrap up Match Week 21 of the EPL.